Recording. So just a few notes. Just make sure to stay muted. There'll be a dedicated questions Q&A session at the end, but if you have questions throughout the evening, go ahead and put them on the chat. I'll monitor it as I present. And yeah, like I said, my name's Ivana. I am the community engagement manager. So if there's any questions regarding the program, how to get involved, how to get your school involved, usually you'll reach out to somebody like me. To get started, I think let me actually share my audio. I don't know if I did that. Because the first I want to start with a quick intro video on what STEM racing is from our last year's nationals competition, just to kind of showcase what sort of the competition looks like. Yeah, so that was a quick video kind of introducing the program. Those are all shots taken from our 2025 national finals that we hosted in Charlotte. And you can imagine that that's what kind of the competition looks like. It includes the racing component, it includes the pit display component, it includes interviews that we didn't showcase in the video, but there are interviews happening off of the video. And yeah, just kind of like goes over what the competition looks like. But for a more general, so like the mission of STEM Racing USA is to support, like with the support from industry sponsors, is to make STEM racing a challenge, a nationally recognized and inclusive program. This engages students from all backgrounds in a fun, hands-on learning experience. This is a Formula One theme initiative where students can gain valuable skills, build connections, explore careers in STEM, engineering, marketing, and technology. So our vision is to create a hands-on immersive experience where students build these mock Formula One teams. They collaborate with industry sponsors and they develop real-world skills in STEM, project management, and teamwork. Through this environment, students gain valuable exposure to career pathways they may have not known from before, and of course, build confidence to pursue opportunities in the STEM fields, whether that is as in a STEM role or STEM adjacent. And hopefully, like our main goal is to close the gap between education and the growing demand of STEM professionals. A bit of background on the competition. So this is an international program that started in the UK back in 1999. And it was brought to the US in 2005. Since then, the program has sent many teams to represent the US at World Finals, even producing a couple of world champions. So the challenge itself is targeted at students aged 9 through 19. And teams can consist of 3 to 6 students per team that compete. So in theory, a team could have more than 6 students, but only 6 of them could be the competitive team that shows up to interviews and stuff like that. So you could have like a few support members if you have students that are interested but don't want to fully commit. But you need to have a minimum of 3 to a maximum of 6 competitive team students, sorry. So the challenge itself consists of designing and testing and manufacturing a 1/20th scale scale F1 car. Students have to develop portfolios and pit displays where they detail their team's work. They have to create a verbal presentation on their team and their work as well. They undergo an engineering interview with industry experienced engineers. This past year at the national finals, we had engineers from GM that were doing these engineering interviews. We had professors from engineering colleges and universities also participating in this. So we try really hard to get industry professionals to do these interviews. You have to also create a team brand and an identity with a marketing and a digital media strategy. And teams need to generate a team budget, acquire and manage sponsorships and partnerships. Along with the engineering interview, teams, depending on what class level they go in, need to also do a project management interview, usually hosted by a Project Management Institute industry professional. And you also have to do an enterprise interview. So that's the one that you talk through basically what's showing in this picture. This is an enterprise interview where enterprise judges come by, they look at your display, and you kind of do a bit of an elevator pitch to them along with these portfolios that you have to create. So STEM racing within the US, it has two classes. So we have the development class and then the professional class. There are suggested grade levels that we have for them. So 5th through 8th grade for the development class, and then 8th through 12th grade for the professional class. The main difference between these two classes is how the car is manufactured. So the car on the left here is a development class. It can be 3D printed completely. And then the professional class has to be CNC'd using the STEM racing foam block that the STEM racing competition sells. So those are the main differences between the two. And then the other one is the professional class does have a dedicated project management portfolio. The development class does not. It kind of gets roped into the enterprise portfolio. But those are the biggest difference. So usually I'd like to recommend, if you have access to a 3D printer and it's your first year, definitely starting with the development class. That would be our recommendation. But if you have access to a CNC machine and you want to take the harder challenge, you're welcome to begin at the professional level class. The other difference between these two is that if you want the chance to go to a world finals competition, you do have to be in the professional class, as that's the only class that competes at the world level. But on that note, like the yearly competitions that the teams and students go through starts off at a regional finals level. So this is teams choosing to compete outside of their school. The first stop in the yearly competition is the regional finals. And then here is where any team from any state can come and participate. From here on out, based on the ranking of the teams from regional finals, you get to go to national finals. So as of right now, we've have up to 40 professional teams and 15 development teams that can compete at the national level. And then in here, both development and professional class can compete. However, only the professional class can advance to the world finals. So if you're a professional class, then you can go to the world finals where teams from over 50 countries compete to be the world champions. Obviously, this is a goal that a lot of teams have, and they spend many, many years working towards. So for the ticket to world finals is you must place in the top 3 professional teams at national finals to move on to world finals. And then the world finals is usually hosted alongside an F1 race somewhere around the world. And students get to either attend or participate in certain events with the F1 race alongside it. So the road to STEM racing. There's a few steps. So the first step that I'd like to recommend is to read the rules and regulations. These are posted on the stemracing.us website. You can start off with the competition regulations. It is a lengthy document, but it has a lot of information and a lot of the stuff that most people will end up having questions with. It goes over like what is needed for competition, what competitions are there this year, what items do I need to bring, what does a portfolio have, how many pages does it need to be, what size are my drawings, etc. It has a lot of information like that. So first and foremost, the most important step to do is read the rules and regulations. Next, once you've done that and you're still interested in joining and participating in the group, you will form your team. So from here, you can form your team. You can gather students or friends from anywhere in your neighborhood, in your school, in your county. It doesn't have to be directly at your school, you can create a team from surrounding areas if that is helpful. Or if you have friends or members that are interested that are outside of your school, it could be a mix of public, private, homeschool. It doesn't have to be dedicated to just one school. From here, you would then move on to affiliating your team with the STEM Racing USA on our website. And I'll go through this in a second because I think I saw a question about timing. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So first, once you've decided to form a team, you basically affiliate your team with us. You kind of tell us like, hey, we exist. We want to participate in this program. We want to compete. Here we are, basically. And then there is a yearly affiliation fee that goes along with your affiliation, depending on what level, based on how many teams your school or your program wants to participate in. And then from here, you can develop your team brand and identity. You can design and manufacture your car. You can create your portfolios and your pit display. You can register for regional finals, and then you can attend national finals after regional finals have been completed. So as far as scheduling, so right now we are about midway through the 2025-2026 season. So I would not recommend affiliating if you want to compete next year, but I'll go over that in a second. So currently affiliation is technically open, like you're welcome to affiliate, but you're going to have to re-affiliate it in the summer because it is a yearly thing that goes from June 1st through May 31st, I think is the time frame. So recommendation for this session is just kind of like getting your answers, figuring out, okay, like once I'm ready to affiliate, I can either start like from the ground running and you already have most of the information. So you can get your team started now and then wait to affiliate once the next season begins. So right now for the 2025-26 season, we've already done regionals. We are preparing for nationals in April. So the next round of competitions would start after the year ends, which for us will be in May when the new season starts in June. So that's the current. So if you're looking to create a team in August, but maybe you want to maybe start with designing a car or learning how to use CAD now, that would be great. And then waiting till the next school year starts to officially affiliate. Let us know you're an existing team that you want to participate in the competition and get started from that standpoint. And then I'm going to give you guys a walkthrough on our website of how to get to the rules, the different affiliation levels, and as well as what affiliation does, because affiliation gives you access to the team portal, which has some of the questions that I think I saw about curriculum and all that. So next up is just general team roles. So out of the six members of the team, these are just kind of recommendations of team roles that we like to tell. So one required role is the team manager, and they're obviously going to be responsible for managing the team and all the project management efforts, including and ensuring that all the cars are ready for the competition. You can then have a resource manager. They can be in charge of organizing time, materials, equipment, the sponsorship and marketing manager, a graphic designer, a design engineer, a manufacturing engineer. And then besides a team manager, these are all just general recommendations. So your team can create their own team roles depending on what makes the most sense for your team. The only one that's required is that team manager. And of course, if you have a smaller team, maybe you double up on some of these responsibilities within your team. So this is just a general idea. And the STEM Racing event is very much student-led. Definitely there is a lead adult or a team lead that is kind of in charge more on the technical aspect, not technical, like on the logistics aspect of booking flights, or you need a hotel room or purchasing material, things like that. That's where the lead adult could be more involved. But generally speaking, a professional team, we definitely want them to be a student-led group. Because when it comes to competition, like the students go into their interviews without their lead adult present. So they need to know everything about their car, their portfolios, their pit displays, all of that. So a few things I like to also discuss is just project challenges I've seen for new teams. So first and foremost, STEM racing teams are self-funded. So project budget is usually one of the main challenges I've seen. So STEM racing budgets range from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars. Think of a local competition or a virtual competition, and then thousands of dollars for something that is traveling, like a national competition at the moment, or a world competition where you have to go abroad. So just keep all of that in mind. There's currently no minimum of or maximum budget a team, and most teams do fund their efforts through sponsorships and in-kind partnerships, like with their local community, with their school, doing fundraisers, stuff like that. The other point to consider if you're a new team and you want to participate in this program is the manufacturing capabilities. So teams do have to manufacture like their cars using the CNC router if they're going to go down the professional class route. But if they're going to go into the development class route, you also need access to a 3D printer. So make sure that you have access to this equipment. So maybe now if you're deciding like, hey, I want to participate or make a team for next season, let's start working on maybe reaching out to local universities or machine shops if you don't have access to a CNC machine and you'd like to go on the professional route. Your teams are welcome to purchase their own CNC router, and you can use a recommended Denford CNC router for this purpose. But if you don't have access to purchase a CNC router, you can use whatever resources your school has or your local community has. The thing to consider is time commitment. So the STEM Racing program is truly an experience where students get what they put in. The competition can be seen as a large time commitment for students, as it does require a lot of dedication to create and run a mock race team with various project elements. So it's not just building the car, it's writing about it in your portfolio, it's having a marketing plan on your portfolio and executing on it. Because we definitely want to see that, like, okay, you created a social media strategy, but we also want to see you execute on it, not just the plan side of things. And then the other thing is like lead adults can expect to be more involved when it comes to a development class team, just because they are younger, they may need some extra coaching and guidance. And then professional class teams, though, usually just need assistance with program logistics when it comes to travel plans and maybe a bit of help on that budget management, but should be led by their team managers and their group. So as far as budget, I just wanted to showcase kind of an example project budget. So like I said earlier, it can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on the competition each team decides to participate in. And the teams are definitely encouraged to reach out to their community for sponsorship and fundraising opportunities. So here on the right-hand side, you can kind of see an example budget. So yearly fees include the affiliation, and there's a range just dependent on what level of affiliation you want to subscribe to, based on if you're one team at your school or your community, or if they believe it goes up to 3 teams at a school or a community with unlimited students. There is a regional finals registration. There is a national finals registration for regional final specific. It may be slightly less as far as team supplies, just because you don't really have to spend that much on uniforms. Maybe it's just one shirt that everybody wears the same for the award ceremony, since it has historically been a virtual competition, just to keep costs low for teams. You need to ship your car to the competition where we run the track. And then car supplies. So whether that is the model blocks, your axles, your paint, your wheels, your bearings, such like that. And then national finals, you can expect it to be a little bit higher, just because it does include that travel and lodging to get to the competition, whether you're going to be driving or if it's a flying distance. And then your pit display and your portfolios are physical things you need to turn in. So there's printing involved in here, depending on what information and how much stuff you want to put in your pit display. That is also why the range is so large. Same with your pit display components. So if you want to have some kind of I don't know, a lot of teams like to have some kind of display where the car spins around, those kinds of things are pit display components. Car supplies for national finals, students need to submit 2 completed cars, 1 display car, and an incomplete car. It's spec'd out, specified in the rules and regulations. So there is a lot more test cars that need to be submitted and car supplies needed for a national finals competition. And then it is a multi-day event. So obviously you want to have additional uniforms for the various days that the teams are there. So this is why it's kind of a general cost for whether it's the school cost or community or for the affiliation fee, and then a range from 5,000 to 1,100 or 11,000. So the competition, so to give you kind of a general idea of what the yearly competition schedule looks like. So like I said, for this particular season, the 2025-2026, we are already past the regional finals. We are now in the national finals competition prep. So this is just what we've done historically. So regional finals competition is usually held in December. It is a virtual competition where you submit digital items of your portfolios, videos of your verbal presentation, and then you ship a physical car to where the track is located. And this is open to all affiliated teams, and the registration cost can be $300 to $350 per team. And why I attend this one is that top finishers from this regional finals are how you qualify for the in-person national finals later in the season. And then you have national finals competition where they're usually held in the spring. The past few years they've been in April, but we try to play around with the school testing schedule and all that. So we try to make it as fair as possible for everybody to attend. It is in person. The past 2 years it's been in Charlotte. This year will also be in Charlotte. But we're looking at potentially going to a different location that's more central for all our teams. This is open to all qualified teams that qualified in the regional finals competition. And the team registration can range around $2,000 per team. But again, that doesn't count for the lodging and the traveling and all that. So a good tip I like to say is that if you want to go to national finals, start planning for that at the beginning of the season, just because the average from last season, so the 2024-2025 season, was around $7,500 to $11,000, which included travel, car supply, pit displays, uniform, all of that. So if you start the season in August, you know that regional finals will be virtual and it'll be a lower cost. So you can start budgeting and planning for national finals at the beginning of the season. So a few notes on this current season. So 2026 national finals is going to be held in April. April 14th through the 15th at the Hilton Charlotte Airport Hotel. It has kind of a convention center attached to the hotel. So that's where we're hosting the competition this year. Spectators are welcome to come on Tuesday. So if any of you guys on the call are local to the Charlotte area or you're happening to be there, you're welcome to stop by on Tuesday. As you can see what the racing looks like and what the team's pit displays will look like. You won't be able to attend any of the interview sessions because those are separate in an interview room with only the team that is interviewing, but you get to see kind of the experience of what the competition entails. Spectators cost is $25, but if you're a student or a teacher and you're in the area, you're welcome to stop by for free. And then the other thing about that we're also hosting at the national finals is Autodesk is a big sponsor of the STEM racing competition, and they have created this Fusion Fundamentals educator training. So if you're a teacher or a parent or a mentor that maybe you have a student that's interested, but they don't have access to CAD, so you'd like to take the training to be able to teach it back to the students, this is a great educator training. This is completely free for participants that are coming to the STEM racing competition. It is a 2-day event. I believe it's a 12-hour course, and it is taught by a certified Autodesk instructor. So it would be great for you to attend and be able to get that Autodesk certified user exam and then teach that back to your students. So this is CAD specific, and the signups are already open on our website. So if you're interested and you're going to be in the area and you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, I wanted to make sure I shared it. So those are general information. And then the next thing I wanted to do is to kind of give you guys a walkthrough of the STEM Racing website. So STEM Racing, let me pull this up a little bigger here. So this is what the STEMracing.us. So make sure that you're going to stemracing.us, not stemracing.com, as that is the global kind of headquarter competition, and that'll give you information about like internationally, world, stuff like that. So if you want specifics to the US, make sure you're going to the stemracing.us. So as some of you may have seen, this is where kind of the introduction session that we hosted today. But what most important is that rules and regulations. So you can go under compete, you can go under rules and regulations, and then you will have your development and your professional class. So make sure that you are reading this prior to doing anything. It is a big, hefty, long document, but it has a lot of information and it goes into every detail about what the competition is going to look like and what they're going to request. So we also have technical regulations. So these are specific to the car. So cars have specs, and these you can gain access once you've decided to affiliate. And once you affiliate, then you get access to the team portal, which I'll show you now how to get access to. So you've done your rules and regulations, you've done your team, now you're ready to affiliate. You click this big red affiliate button and you click the next affiliate button and it'll provide this information. So on here, you will put in your school or program name. If you are an independent team that just happens to be, it's 6 students from all over the place in your county. You can put your county team or you can put independent team. It doesn't have to say your school if you're not associated with a school. And then you will have to include a lead adult contact information. So this could be either the teacher that is overseeing the team, a parent that's overseeing the team. This is just our way as STEM Racing to communicate with the lead adult to share information about competitions, about registration, about anything that comes up. Then you can select what kind of class you would like to participate in, how many students from your team are going to participate in, and then what affiliation level you want to register for. So like I said, so you have the silver, gold, and platinum. These 3 memberships are the ones that you will be competing. And if not, you do have the bronze membership. That is $25. That gives you access to the team portal and some of the information I'll go over in a second. But if come July, August, you're ready to affiliate and compete for the next season, you would be going to one of these 3, depending on how many teams your school will be submitting. And that is that one. So as far as affiliation is on here, you can see what information is available at each of the affiliation levels. So all of them give you access to the team portal. All of them give you access to the technical regulations. And then once you want information about competition and registration, you would do it in the silver, gold, or platinum level. The next is you should be able to see where our team's located in the US. And then in the competitive levels, you would have access to that virtual training guide and resources. So if you want access to the team portal today, you're welcome to submit for a bronze level. And then once the new year starts, you can upgrade to a silver, gold, or platinum. So like I said, this is an annual membership and renews every year that you decide to compete. So once you've done this part, you can log into the team portal. So in order to get to the team portal, you would go to compete and team portal. But before I get to that, there's some extra information. So this is the Autodesk Fusion Fundamentals class I mentioned, the 2026 National Finals. This is how you can reserve your spectator ticket if you're an educator and all of that. You can relive some of the pictures and videos from last year as well. So team portal, once you've affiliated, you will be granted an account to be able to access your team portal. And on here, you will see dates and registrations. This is for regional finals this year. And then we have national finals. And then we have a calendar that includes what we're doing today. We have info sessions throughout semesters of the competitive season, just to touch on topics that we have, that maybe the students have questions on, or we've noticed from like regional scores, like, hey, maybe we need to touch base on this topic in one of these info sessions. So we generally have that. And you can see like we'll usually upload every year a new events calendar for what to expect when these are going to be located if you want like a full view of the year. And then info sessions on here as well. Let me log in. You will see what the upcoming info sessions or topics are going to be. So this past semester, we had various topics, and then currently in this winter spring semester, we have various other topics as well that we've noticed that teams might need. These are info sessions all get recorded. So if you're a team that missed it, you can always go back and see that. So the next part is the rules and regulations. So these are the same competition regulations that are posted in our public site before you have access to your team portal. And then these are your technical regulations on the right-hand side, sorry. So development class and then professional class. So like I said, these include, so I'll open them, these include specs specific to the car itself. So make sure that if you are interested in designing or you already want to get a head start on what could it look like, you are looking at the technical regulations for that, like, you know, what information, what items are in my car and all of that. And then the competition regulation kind of goes over the competition itself. So, you know, competitions, what does the schedule look like? What race events are there? How are scores calculated? And things like that. So highly recommend reading this. It also goes over at the end. So the way scoring works is these scorecards that each judge receives. So based on what you submit, the judge has a bit of a rubric that they have to follow in order to score your items in the various sections. So make sure that a recommendation that we generally like to say is make sure you're following the rubric. It's great if you want to put more information on your portfolio than it is requested on the rubric, but the judges cannot score you on that information. So make sure that you're hitting the things that the judges are looking for. And then anything extra space you have that you want to attach onto it, you're welcome to, but make sure you're following the rubrics as you're going through this. So these are the rules and regulations, the directory, it'll show you a map, and it'll kind of show you where all the teams have decided to open. So teams get to decide if they want to be shown on the map or not. But if not, they're listed on the bottom where they're located. So you would have access to the team directory, and then you can reach out to some of the teams that are on here as well. And then as far as resources, so like I said, if you are in that competitive affiliation level, so the silver through platinum, you do have access to a virtual training guide, which kind of goes over different sections of the competition with videos and training material associated with it. So it's like course introduction, it goes through team roles, creating your teams, the various competition elements, car design, project management, and stuff like that. And then in this area is also where we have like extra recordings from various info sessions that we've had in the past, as some of the information does repeat. So we like to make sure that the info sessions are also accessible for everybody year after year. And then the other information that you have access to is downloads. So the car needs to have the STEM Racing logo on it on one of the sides, or if you're wanting to make your uniform. So this is like kind of where you can get that information. So your STEM Racing logos, your car decals that need to be placed on your car. If you want to 3D print scrutineering gauges, so your car goes through various scrutineering steps when you submit it for competition. So you're welcome to 3D print your own to know exactly what the judges are going to use. And this also includes parts. It also, so like, for example, now cars have this halo, so you need to download the halo file to add on to your car and stuff like that. And then the other part is software. So Autodesk, like I said earlier, is a big sponsor of the competition. So if you do not have access to a CAD software, you're welcome to use Autodesk. They have free access to the software for any STEM Racing student. So make sure that you go through that. If you, by any chance, already know a different CAD software like SolidWorks, for example, you are welcome to use that as well. It is not a requirement to use Autodesk Fusion, but it is a resource that is available to you. There's tons of tutorials online specific to STEM Racing, so it is usually a recommendation to use Autodesk if you are looking for one. ANSYS is another big sponsor, and they also have provided free access to the student version of this to STEM Racing students. And this is a CFD program, so computational fluid dynamics, how you kind of measure forces and airflow and all of that virtually on your car. So think of it like that. STEM Racing HQ. So the HQ out in the UK does create their own resource video. So you're welcome to use that. There's scrutineering videos online. There's the virtual training guide and stuff like that. And then lastly, the store, which you can also access through the regular website as well. We've partnered with Race to Learn as the sole provider of STEM racing products. So if you are deciding like, hey, I do want to go through the professional route and I need to buy a block, you would go on here and you would buy the model block directly through them. So this is kind of like what they look like, and you mount it onto your CNC machine and subtract the material out based on your design that you created in CAD. Same thing for wheels and tether line guides and axles and all that. So material can be purchased directly through Race to Learn website. And then I think, let me go through, make sure I didn't miss anything as far as information on here. No, I don't think so. So I think there was a few questions. So let me go through the chat, but if not, we can go ahead and move on to the question section. So a question about curriculum available to review. So like I said, that is located in our team portal. It is called the Virtual Training Guide. But our recommendation is to read through the competition regulations and go start there before moving on to the team portal. So question about if there's a list of current teams. So yes, there is, based on that team directory found in the team portal. So that is the only access to get information like on where teams are currently located. If you have a specific location that you would like to ask, you're welcome to email us directly, and we can check for you. So email is down here at the bottom, info@stemracing.us. So make sure to email that number, that email, if you have questions about, hey, I live in, I don't know, Florida, and I would like to know if there's a team near my area. And we can try and help you to put you in contact with the local team. So question about, so again, just to repeat, the new season would start, the new year season would start in the June timeframe. So if you're looking to have a club starting in August, you are welcome to wait until then to affiliate. So the season will always start on June, but we understand that June, summer or June, July, everybody's usually on summer break. So it's generally, we see an uptick of teams joining in the August, September timeframe. So yeah, so I think I had a question of if my team starts in August, you haven't missed anything yet for the new season. No, we're currently in the 2025-2026 season. So currently nothing is happening for the following year, but not a bad place to be. If you want to get a head start on maybe getting really good at CAD, or maybe you start figuring out, what's the best way to make your car with the current regulations. The technical regulations do get updated yearly, so make sure to be on the lookout if you are pulling technical regulations from a previous season. But it is great practice to start with that, build a car. Maybe you build just a really simple car that meets all the specs that are listed in the technical regulations, and go from there and slowly improve it based on aerodynamics and all that. But yeah, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to either unmute or put it in the chat. But I hope this answered a lot of questions that everybody had. And if you do have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to info@stemracing.us. And I'll also add my personal email on the chat. So feel free to email me directly if you do have follow-up questions to this presentation. And like I said, it'll be recorded and it'll be uploaded onto our YouTube channel if you have further questions, or if you feel like sharing it with anybody, either at your school or some teacher or some other parent or another student, all of that. But if no other questions, I'll go ahead and stop recording.